Hey, it's me again. It's Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. We've got more weather to talk about. You can see it very clearly now. Our little buddy Ernesto out here is starting to look like a daggone tropical cyclone. Okay, there he is going over the Lesser Antilles now, getting ready to go over Puerto Rico as a tropical storm. And we've also got some severe weather threats returning to the nation's heartland here, and we're going to talk about that just right here in a second. But first, of course, we've got to give a full-fledged update on Ernesto here. Once again, really starting to get its act together. It's officially a tropical storm. We've got, it's nothing crazy. We don't see any sort of explosive growth with Ernesto right now, but we do see a more traditional look here. And honestly, it looks like it's primed to grow pretty quickly, okay? I think that this is going to be a Category 1 hurricane right after it gets past Puerto Rico. Now, beyond that, we are still fairly confident that this is going to recurve out to sea and be mostly a fish storm after it gets past Puerto Rico. Obviously, we've got to worry about our friends in Bermuda, but for the most part, if you're in the eastern portion of the United States, this doesn't look like it's going to be a big impact for us. Maybe up there towards Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, we've got to be watching a little bit closer. Really am not seeing a lot of opportunities for this being a problem in South Carolina, for example, or North Carolina, other than maybe this could produce some choppy seas for a couple of days. And how choppy those seas get is going to greatly depend on this. Right now, we're pretty sure that the storm's going to reach Category 2 status, but there's a couple of models trying to say that this is going to strengthen enough to get up there into the major hurricane realm, Category 3. And if that happens, of course, the impacts for everybody involved are going to be amplified a little bit. So here is the official update from the National Hurricane Center. Once again, Tropical Storm Ernesto right now. We've got maximum sustained winds around 45 miles per hour, and we've got tropical storm warnings out for pretty much all of Puerto Rico. This is mainly going to be a flooding problem for you guys down there. The winds are not going to be anything crazy. There's not going to be much of anything crazy at all about this, honestly, other than the rain. So be prepared for flash flooding. Now, as this gets up there closer to Bermuda, we do expect the winds to be in the Category 2 realm. So 110 miles per hour sustained winds is possible for our friends up there around Bermuda. So we've got to keep an eye on that. And of course, there is still a very slight opportunity, or slight chance, I should say, for this to go on the western side of the cone. The farther west that this goes, obviously, the more we'll have to watch the potential impacts on the East Coast. But right now, it looks like we're pretty chill. Now, coming back over here to the mainland U.S., we've got to talk about our severe weather that we are experiencing and we are about to experience. Right now, we've got this really mean-looking mesoscale convective system ripping through the central portion of the country. We've got a couple flash flood warnings out there, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings moving into the southwestern Missouri region. This is going to die out pretty quickly as it goes off to the south and east, but I just wanted to show you this. It looks, doesn't that look mean? If you live out here in Kansas or Missouri and experienced this storm this morning, let me know how that went for you on Twitter. That seems like it was probably at least a pretty good gully washer for you. And like I said, that storm system is going to die out pretty quickly. It's not going to affect anybody too far to the south and east. We've got a marginal risk of severe weather today for a lot of the Rockies, down into portions of the Central Plains, and a little bit of South Carolina and North Carolina there. Severe weather today is really not going to be that big of a deal. However, tomorrow, things pick up a little bit, as we've got about 2 million people under a slight risk of severe weather over there around Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, Topeka, Kansas, down there even towards Council Bluffs, Iowa. You guys could be picking up on some severe weather tomorrow. Wind and hail are going to be the main threats, but we've got that 2% probability of seeing a tornado as well. And then on the day 3 outlook, we've got 15 million people under the gun for potential severe weather on Thursday. In Chicago, down there towards Roxford, St. Louis, you guys are included in this. Wind and hail look like they're going to be the main threats, but there might be a little bit more of a tornado aspect to this one, and that's why I think we're highlighting this on the day 3 outlook. This might be something that on the day 1 outlook is actually an enhanced risk. Maybe not for tornadoes, but maybe for wind. So we're going to keep a very, very close eye on this one. Okay, so this is what the radar could look like later today around 4 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, that mesoscale convective system is going to die out as it goes over southeastern portions of Missouri into Arkansas. There's a couple of storms that might try to refire later tonight tonight into the early morning hours on Wednesday, and this is going to happen along a boundary that will extend all the way back up towards Nebraska and Iowa. This is where some of that severe weather threat comes tomorrow. Also, pretty significant flash flooding threat here. If any of these storms train over the same areas for a significant period of time, that could cause a problem. A couple of hailers are possible over here between Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota as well. And then our radar, unfortunately, only goes out to about 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, but you can see that there's new storms forming here, and there will be new storms forming in that slight risk area as we go into the afternoon and evening hours as well. Looking even farther into the future, keep this in mind. Right now we're in an omega block pattern. That's why it's hot as heck down here in Texas, cooler in the west and cooler in the east. All right, and let's see if that changes as we go into the future. All right, so as we go into Friday, for example, things flatten out a little bit, and pretty much all that means is it's going to be less cool on the edges and a little bit more hot in the south. Okay, it also means that we're probably going to see a little bit less activity in the middle here in terms of rain and storms go, at least towards the latter part of this week. And then you can see Ernesto peeking out of the corner here. Once again, even the Euro shows this recurving out to sea pretty quickly. As we go into the weekend, we enter a new pattern. Okay, it's still, looks like the omega symbol. We've got a little bit of an omega block going on here, but it's a little bit focused farther west, which means that more areas in the east will be cooler than average. This actually might extend down into the southeast a little bit. Also, the warmer temperatures are going to be more concentrated in the Four Corners region, and we actually might see a drop of rain in Northern California as a result of this enhanced flow from the Pacific Ocean. So this weekend into early next week, the pattern is going to change, but it's not going to be anything extreme. It's not going to be anything crazy. I still think the vast majority of the rainfall and storms are going to be happening in this area right here where that warm air and the cool air kind of interact with each other. Temperature outlook starting 8 days from now and going 14 days from now shows that cooler air in the east, mostly kind of focused on the Ohio Valley, according to the Climate Prediction Center. And then you can also see how some of the warmer temperatures are a little bit farther west than what they have been. Not a lot of relief in Louisiana, not a lot of relief in Florida, and it's going to be a little bit cooler than average over here in the Pacific Northwest as well. Just want to remind y'all that over on shopryanhall.com, we do still have 10% off on the Tempest weather station. And apparently, we've been getting a lot of questions about this, I'm being told. The bird deterrent accessory is also in stock. This is huge news. If you've got a problem with birds on your Tempest weather station, well, we've got a solution for that over on shopryanhall.com. It's just $6.95. Bird deterrent accessory. That way birds ain't getting on your weather station and making you think that it's raining when it's not. You know what I'm saying? I can see how that could be a problem. Birds don't ever sit on my weather station, so I don't know if I'm just lucky or what. Of course, we've also got the NOAA weather radios over there, and every purchase that you make on shopryanhall.com helps us do what we do here, and it provides jobs in rural Appalachia, which is what we need over here. So thank you so much for all the support, and that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.